Hey, what's up guys, Loveday here and welcome back to another video. Today I forgot to record my microphone while racing. I decided that I wanted to adjust some settings on my microphone, and it all went well. I did a lot of testing and forgot to change it off monitor mode, meaning this whole hour-long race of me talking, yeah, there was no me talking in the file. But hey ho, here we are. Today we're doing IMSA at the Nürburgring, obviously the GP circuit. And I went in with about 35 minutes practice. I know I said I'd do more, but this was the last race I could do of this week of IMSA. So I jumped in, and this one's a weird one, I'm not going to lie, it's a very, very weird one. I didn't know what to expect, and what I ended up getting was definitely not what I expected. So here we are in my qualifying lap. As you can see, it is awful. Kind of still trying to figure out the car at this track with this setup, obviously using Craig's setup shop. I don't know if I've ever mentioned that before, but I only use Craig's setup shop. It's just easier, isn't it? I don't know setups, so I thought I'd just use someone else's to make it easier for myself. So yeah, this section here, not my favourite. You'll see that throughout the video, throughout the race. Just really not comfortable through that section. Don't know how to do it fast. Always end up doing it different every time. No consistency, which is fun. And then yeah, the final chicane. Yeah, there's some treats coming up in this race with this chicane. As we come up to the final corner. And the number 29 car, obviously integrating a couple of GTEs, no GT3s in this one I don't think, so there's only one split as well, which is kind of funny, but there we go. P2, wow, look at us, we're quick. But then coming around for the second lap, I just immediately binned it, which I knew was going to be faster lap, but I binned it, it's fine. But then ended up P7, oh wait, no, P8. So starting the race, just kind of trying to survive, I guess. This was the whole point of me just trying to get to the finish. Hopefully gain some IR, and that'll be nice. But here we come. I thought we'd started and then we slowed down and then we actually started, so I got jumped. So that was a quick start. But I'm going to play the first couple of laps because yeah, it's interesting. So as you can see, we're P8 coming into T1. Everyone kind of slows down. I wasn't quite sure what was happening, and it's slow. So there's me thinking that I had a race in my hands, but it seems like we're just still doing a pace lap. So here we are pushing, seeing what I can do basically. What my intentions were, like I said, was just see what could happen, and the car punts me in the back, and that was Tom. Remember him? He comes back. I feel like that was just a mistake on his end. I mean, I was going slow, but so were the cars in front, so I don't know if that's on my end or not. But yeah, so 1 second gap now between me and the car in front. Technically still P8 or P7. I don't even know now. The leaderboards are going crazy. All the standings, relative, whatever. I think we made one position. So at the end of lap 1, we made one position, which is always nice. The leader here is actually just pulling away. He's gone. Slow into the chicane. Now that's a running theme throughout this race. If I'm behind someone and they're going into the chicane, they're going a bit slower than I am. You'll see what happens later. But caught up, 0.3 behind now at the end of lap 1. So on to lap 2. So we've made one position up. And you'll notice that I haven't quite figured out the gearing. I'm hitting the limiter a lot. I'll figure it out eventually. Come on, indeed. Bit of an off in front, so that's one freebie and another one there as well. So that's 2 positions gained. So now we're into P5. Car in front, a little slow. As you can see, I'm just braking just to not rear-end him. I always have a thing about not knowing where the front of my car is, even in real life. so I desperately don't want to rear-end anyone. And we have another off. Kind of, a bit of a late break. Still in it. As you see, the leader's already around the hairpin. He's just gone. He's won this one. Almost rear-ended again. I don't know if you saw that in the mirror. I'm pushing up to the S's. Now, is this where I do my flat-out ride the curb? Yes, but gains no time. I don't know why I do it. It's actually just easier to do. And wide. That's the section I just really don't get. So as we come into the backstretch, I guess, I don't know. I'm making this up as I go along. Coming up to the chicane, I'm just kind of crawling through, and P2 spins. So that's another freebie, and I get distracted, so I drive off the track, and then following the distraction, I lock up. But that puts us in P4. So after 2 laps we're in P4. So we've gained 4 positions without really doing anything. So they're the kind of races I like. As we see a car diving up on the inside, I left the room, broke early, that's whatever. But he didn't make it stick, he barely even got alongside. But here we go, now there's a car on my left side.
Hold your line.
Really trying to make this stick, trying to just be really cautious, and then block him off, just for good measure. There we go. Thank you, Jim. That puts me into P3. Okay, see if we can get P2 in the next stages here. I know that I'm faster. This is one of the things that bothers me about my own driving. I know that I can go faster, and I know that I'm faster. It's just my consistency needs work. It definitely needs work. Which is, I mean, you get there with more practice. I need to do more practice. So there we go, flying through the S's. I think, if I remember correctly, I get a really good run. So I haven't watched this since yesterday when I edited this video. Oh no, I jumped the curb, that was it. That happens a couple times. So, just keep an eye on the life of the car. Nothing really happens. Into the chicane is where I gain most of my time. Everyone's a really early braker. I guess my bias is quite set front forward, which explains what happens later. I keep referring to something that hasn't happened yet. Right on the tail end of him, coming up to T1. Fake out the inside, get him to block it. And what do? I do the old switcheroo. Look at that. Oh, outside, inside, take the position. As lovely as you like, forcing him deep, thinking I'm going for a move, when in actual fact I was waiting for him to make a mistake to go for the move. So that puts us in P2. And what do I go and do? You know what I go and do. I pull away for all of half a lap until I make this mistake, going up through the S's, too much curb, unsettles the car, cut the track. Typical. So it gives me a 1 second slowdown, but I somehow magically nail this corner. Puts it up to a 1.5. So, you know, what are you going to do? So I pull over to the right hand side, slow down. As it gets to about half a second, I accelerate just to make sure it times out. 2 cars in front, I'm thinking, okay, P4. I've passed them already. Early breakers. Early breakers. I have to brake harder, which means I lock up because of my bias. Yeah, that's not fun. So I sneak out just here, bit slow, but I make it work. That puts us back into P11. So we've gone backwards here by a lot. Now skipping over to lap 5. I think this is just where I'm sneaking through and trying to wake myself up. There we go. Falling asleep because I keep looking up. Just trying to wake myself up there. Wow, I forgot that happened. Alright, going into T1. Don't think a lot really happens here other than I'm chasing down P10. So now it's just a kind of comeback game. I wanna try and get as, you know, as close to the original position I started in, just to gain some IR. That would be nice. But these guys are, I don't know what happened, but they're just so slow coming out of certain corners and like super quick through others. But this guy clearly wasn't having a good day. Just not driving a line that's supposed to be driven. I don't know. So just trying to stay on the back end of him, trying to get a clean run past him. Instead, I decide to just push past him through the hairpin. It worked, and I managed to not be side by side through the S's. And now he's reeling me in, apparently. Look at that. Alright, moving ahead to lap 7. Again through the hairpin. I think this is where some people were struggling to get the car slowed down and turn in. As you see on my telemetry at the bottom, you can see that I'm doing a lot of trail braking. Try and get the car slowed down while turning in. Which is a lot better for that hairpin. Look at me talking like I know what I'm talking about. But yeah, some of the corners I'm just a lot quicker through than others. There's the curb again. Here we see we've got a good run coming up to the back of P8 now. Decide to look up on the inside. I decide to early brake because I didn't know when he was going to brake. And then he just stops on the exit. Oh, woe is life. Then he goes really wide. I don't know if he was letting me through here or if he just decided that he just didn't want to turn. So there we go. There's P8. Back to where we started. And then all of a sudden now we're in P7. Don't know how that happened. Oh, now we're P6. Somebody in the pits. Okay, look at that. Were we already in P8? I don't know. I'm getting lost now. So lap 11 into P6. Technically a net gain of 2 positions. Increase of iRating. So it's like 40 something. Something like that. I can't read it. It's too small on my screen. But I mean, we've gained. Catching up to the car in 5th. Coming towards the end of the lap. Sticking up behind him. I'm ready. He brakes early and I shit myself. There you go. I would have slowed down for that if I'd kept my actual braking that I wanted to do. And this one confused me. I come out of the chicane and he's left or right, but I don't know. He was sitting in the middle. I thought he was, because he was going so slow, I thought he was going in the pits. So I assumed he was going to go right. Then when he didn't go right, I assumed there's me gesturing and getting confused. I thought he was going to go and carry on like normal, but it was I didn't know what he was going to do. He ended up going in the pits. That's fair enough. But yeah. But yeah, that spin threw me back a couple of positions again. Typical me. And here we are behind the early breaker. Now this was a move that I didn't want to do, but I ended up doing anyway. So as you can see, I got a better run coming out. He started braking early. I just cut through the middle, left him the space, but he backed out of it anyway. And then we have a spinner in front as well. So that's 2 positions, as well as cutting through some GTE traffic. And then a move on the outside here. Hey, if you're in an LMP car, you gotta do some stupid stuff to try and keep in front and overtake. If you're not doing stupid stuff, you're not an LMP driver. That's what I think. Alright, don't tell me to relax. If I do that, I make mistakes. Right, so this I think was where I decided that now would be a good time to box after making that stupid move. And I was like, do I? Yes, I do. And then I realised as I was doing it, yeah, I'm stuck behind a GTE into the pits. Not my smartest move. But I mean, it was an early pick, because I thought, I've already spun twice. I don't know where I actually am in the standings. I don't know who else's pit or whatever. then my pit guide disappeared. I'm driving along the pit lane to try and figure out where he is. Yeah, and then he comes back at the end, which is nice. It's really handy. So, doing the pit stop. Don't know why I showed the whole thing. Oh, I know. Remember when I said to remember someone? Well, here he comes. Remember him. There he is. Me and Tom have a nice little battle throughout the rest of this race. And we both decide that it's a good idea to really push each other. And I think it ended up being the best thing for us. Pushing each other the whole time. Here's another freebie, someone in the pits. That puts us back into P7. And another freebie. Look at that, everyone's pitting now. But this one was a close one. I come out just as he's coming out. Or I come across just as he's coming out. Which means puts us into P6. So here's me trying to close down Tom. Gesturing about something. Not sure what's going on there. And what does Tom do here? Makes a slight mistake, and that puts me right next to him. And I think about doing the over-under again, but then I think I'll just try and hold the outside a little bit longer to try and cut back through. Didn't end up working out, so I'm right on the tail end of him. This is where I really should have... There we go. You see that I'm now overtaking 2 more cars in the pits. Puts us into P4, but I could be P3 if I just nipped through the inside. Didn't put the throttle down. I was too conservative on that line. I could have cut a lot wider, which would have disrupted his line, which meant he ended up cutting back in front for that left-hander. Now I thought I was quicker than him, and for the most part I was. The average lap time at the end, I think he was about 100th quicker for the average lap time. I mean, that doesn't include my 2 spins. Well, it does include my 2 spins, which I'd rather it didn't. But I just kind of wanted to get past him really, really quickly, because I was thinking that podium, from being P2 earlier, to be able to get back on the podium, that would have been a nice little comeback, especially after spinning twice. So I'm trying to push. I'm really trying to do it. I don't know what kind of setup he's got, but he's really quick on the straight lines. But also quick through the corners. I don't know if it's just me being stupid. I think I've got a slightly better gearing for acceleration. But as soon as it gets to the halfway point, he just kind of pulls away. And I hit the limiter a lot. Coming back up into... As you see, I'm braking a lot earlier. I usually brake at the 100. And that's my average spot where I tend to slow down from. But there was about like 120, 130. Just didn't want to risk rear-ending anyone. Not a third spin. Don't want that. So as you can see, we are now on lap 23. It says it's a 27 lap race, but the lap time of the leader didn't quite match up with what the average of the last couple of races of the week have gone. So that's like the average of what's happened, like the equation. I don't know how it works. I'm just assuming it's the average of the races so far, like how many laps you're supposed to do in a certain amount of time. This split wasn't a high strength of field. You can see it there. It's a 1.6k strength of field, but it was the only split. So, you know, I don't know what I was expecting. It's just lap times weren't there for everyone. So the race ended up only going, I think, 25 laps, which meant I was overfueled. Oh, just punched the microphone. Don't want to do that. But yeah, sticking on the tail end of Tom, trying everything I can, trying to find any weakness, trying to put any pressure on him. But just mistakes from both of us. Actually, I think we had a nice little moment where we both decided to spin a little bit. There we go, both off track, doing a little bit of a wiggle, and then coming down the back straight. Wasn't quick enough to try and catch him there. But the gap's only 0.7, so we could do it through my normal braking point here, closing up. And I overcook it. Just a little wiggle, and I didn't want to spin the car, so I decided just to straight line it, which made the gap for 1.3 seconds. And then coming up to the second to last lap. Still 1.3 seconds, and then coming around the final corner for the last lap. Closed it down to 1 second, but it wasn't enough. And across the line in P4, so a net gain of 4 positions. I mean, that's not bad. It could have been worse. It definitely could have been worse with those 2 spins. And I said to him, good race, and he said good race back. And Porsche decided to spin. But there you go, there's the important stuff. We got plus 0.12 on the safety rating, and plus 63 on the iRating, which is good. Back at 1590, which is nice. And there's me trying to do the math. But yeah, that was an IMSA race at the Nürburgring. It was a weird one. Alright, if you like this video, give it a like. If you really like, subscribe and play the notification bell. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!